Hey guys, Terry with Computer Pro. Today's video is gonna be a little bit different, not IT related per se, as you see. But I mean, a lot of us IT guys are nerds, and this is a nerdy thing, so I guess I can relate it. It's semi-related, but at any rate, it started kind of as a joke. A couple of buddies of mine, I was like, man, I bet I can get you to solve the Rubik's Cube in a short time, and it kind of went from there. And I think I can get, teach people to solve it in 3 days without having to look at anything, just solving it on your own in 3 days. And with this method that it's a somewhat beginner method that I kind of tailored, and I think it's probably one of the easiest ways to learn it. And now the caveat is you're not going to be one of those speed cubers that do it in 8 seconds or anything, because that uses a lot of memorization, like a lot of algorithms, right? So algorithms are just movements. Like for example, like this, right, up, right prime, up prime. Prime is just, when you see a tick mark like that, prime is just counterclockwise. So, right prime, up prime. It's just clockwise, counterclockwise. That's all that means. I think that the trade-off is instead of learning, algorithms are like patterns, right? Instead of learning, 30 of them or 50 of them, and you look and the cube's a certain way, and you pull out one of your 50 things that you memorize and you do this certain thing with it, and you got a 10-second solve. Well, this is it. This is all you need to know to solve the Rubik's Cube. And I think with this here, you can solve it in about a minute or less, depending how fast you get, And then if you want to go from there and get, say I really want to get into it and I want to solve it in 20 seconds or 15 seconds, then you just kind of learn more, okay? But this should get you solving it in about a minute, okay? Or less. And some of these are super easy. There's only really, and here's the thing. These two, there's really one algorithm that you use, but it's mirrored. So you can't, there's technically two, but you'd count it as one. Like for the middle layer, for example, if you're going like flick up, flick back, and then on the left side, it's flick up, flick back. It's kind of the same thing, but technically, because you're mirroring sides, one's going to be written as prime and one's not. Like, for example, flick up, flick back is technically, up, right, up prime, right prime. Well, when you do it on the left, even though you're doing the same thing, like I take my right finger, I'm moving this to the back, I'm flicking opposite hand and bringing it back. I'm mirroring it on this side, but because it's left side, instead of, up, it's technically up prime. So up prime, left prime, right? Because I'm going counterclockwise instead of clockwise. So keep that in mind. But given that, there's only, if you don't count like the mirroring between right and left hand, there's really only like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 algorithms or 6 things you have to learn. And I broke it down by day. I think with this method, you can learn it in 3 days, really. The first layer is pretty easy, middle layer, and last layer. And what that means, the first layer, Rubik's Cube, real quick, beginner thing, right? So the center cube is the color it's going to be. That doesn't change. Like you rotate other cubes around it, right? But the center never moves. So that's how you can tell that's going to be green, that's going to be yellow, that's going to be blue, that's going to be orange, that's going to be red, and it's going to be white, right? And so what we'll do is we'll solve the white side first. It'll just be easiest to show, and go from there, okay? So starting with day 1, the first, then the layers is kind of like this. Like this would be, if this is white, this would be considered the first layer. So then this middle one that I'm rotating would be considered the second layer, okay? And once those are solved, then this would be the last layer, okay? So 3 distinct layers, 1, 2, and 3. So that's the easy way to solve it. Okay, so the first layer, the cross is intuitive. What you do is you first want to get a cross. So we're going to solve for white. You first want to get a cross. That just means there's edge pieces and corner pieces on the cube. We're going to solve the white cross. Or we're going to solve it correctly where the edge piece, like for example, orange, which is here. So this is part of the cross, but the bottom piece has to match the center cube. So like this is white, but see, orange doesn't match. It literally goes here. Get it? So it's as simple as that. And the way to do that really is it's going to be a combination of, if we solve with white on the bottom, for example, if you have, the easiest way is to get the cubes on top. So white's on top. I put it over the color like this. Here's red. And then I literally spin it down to the bottom. And see, it's there. It's as simple as that. The harder part is when the white's not on top. So for example, green is over green, but if I spin it, it's not right. It's flipped. It's backwards, okay? So what you do in a case like that, easiest thing simply is bring it to the side. So I bring it to the side. Now from there, think about this. And this is why the cross is intuitive, because most people know how to at least do the cross. There's algorithms, but you don't really have to memorize it. It's something you can just look at and do, okay? So for example, green is here. And if I spin it up, it's going where orange goes, see? I need it to go here, but yet it's not oriented right. So you have to say to yourself, it's almost like instead of, so if I move this up, I'm literally going from here to here. That's going to be the constant, okay? So what I want to do is I want it to go here, but it's going here when I move it right. So what I do is I simply put this over here. So I move that over, then I move this up, then I move it back, and now it's in the right spot, you see? And most people know how to do that. I know it's kind of going over a lot with this, but just, and the same thing. Here's blue and white. I can't put this over it and go here because it's, once again, it's going to be flipped, okay? So instead, I can go to the side, okay? Now this goes here, so I can move it, but I don't want to mess up red, so I can rotate this up, move it where it goes, and then put red back, okay? And I pretty much have my cross. Let me move this out of here just to make it easy to see. So that's what a cross is like, right? So it literally means that you have your cross and the edges are correct, okay? So let's do that again. And this is probably the part that makes the least sense because I'm not really doing algorithms or distinct stuff to solve the cross. It's more of a, figure it out thing because there's only 4 cubes, okay? So I put the white on the bottom. If I can get the white edge piece up top and move it around, that's perfect because then I spin it over the color. Like in this case, red, it goes over here. And then I just rotate it to the bottom and it's in the right spot. Green's already there. Here's orange. I'm going to go here. Now orange goes here, okay? So I'm just like before, I'm going to spin it here, then rotate it, then I'm going to spin this one back. Blue is already up top. All I have to do is rotate it to the bottom, okay? And I pretty much have my cross, ignoring these two. These two, if you get other whites, it doesn't really matter. You're just looking for the cross, okay? So once again, let me mix it up a little bit. There's no, the cross is, we just call it an intuitive solve because most people can just do it without having to figure it out. So here's orange. I'm going to put orange up top. I'm going to move it over to where it goes because it goes here, white. And I'm just going to rotate it in place, right? Just like that. Blue is already lined up. I'm just going to rotate it in place. Green is not in the right spot, but here's what I can do. because white is like it is, I can bring it up. Now, remember, red is already in place. If I bring this up, I'm messing up red. So the theory is you bring it up. Now watch this cube. So watch this cube and then watch the red cube, okay? I bring this up, I move it over, and then I put the red back. Now the green's up top. It's above it, white's up. It's totally ready to just rotate in place like that. And I've got my cross. The same with this. Let's just mix this up. There. So here's white. I'll put white in the bottom to solve. Green is already in place. I just turn it down, right? Blue is not in place. Let's bring it to the top, move it over, and put this back in case there was something there. Now blue's on top. I rotate it over to where it goes, and I just spin it twice to put it in place, okay? Red, remember, red, this goes here, so, but green's in place. Now, if I move red, watch how green messes up, okay? So when you have it here where it's not, like I can't rotate this up because it's backwards, see? So when that's the case, you do move it to the side, and then watch this cube, which has to go here in relation to this cube, okay? Watch. I move it to the side, I put it in place, and then I move this one back. That's how you don't want to mess up what you already have, so you typically move that out of the way and then put it back. Get it? Okay, orange. Oh, it's all set to go. All I do is flick it back. So super simple. That's what I'm saying about the cross. Most people know how to do the cross. That's not the problem that they have. They have the problem with everything else. And matter of fact, most people are pretty good at getting one side, okay? But where a lot of people do it wrong is, and I'll show you an example really quick. Oops. An example would be like this. Oh, that's not. My yellow and white are so similar. Okay, there. So I solved a side, but look at the edges. That's not a proper layer. I have a side solved, but look at, these are like blue, red, green, like they're not right. So to properly do it, you have to have the corner pieces in place. So green, for example, orange and green goes here, blue and goes here, red and blue goes here. I'll just show you what there's a properly solved layer. And if I turn it a little bit, you can see that. The edge is solved, but also the corresponding edges are all correct. So this whole layer is solved, right? And then after that, you'd solve the middle layer and then the last layer, okay? And so after you get the edges, let's get the edges or the cross. Let's just assume you have the cross solved, okay? And we're in a situation like this. We have the cross, which means we have our green, orange, like everything's right, okay? We need the edges. All you have to do, the algorithm is, we look on our sheet, okay? The algorithm is right, up, right prime, up prime. Or if you do it with the left hand, left prime, left, up. And what that means is we're literally gonna go like this. Right, up, right prime, up prime. So the way my hands are, watch, I hold the cube like this. I put this hand here. This finger is ready to flick the top, okay? And this turns. So I'm using my fingertips. Turn, 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 turn. Flick, 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 flick. So right, up, right prime. Now, remember, prime is counterclockwise. So right, when you say right, you're turning the right side of the cube. So this is right prime. This is up prime. Now, keep in mind, clockwise and counterclockwise from the left, it's going to be mirror opposite. So this is left because it's clockwise. If you look at it, you're going clockwise. So left, left prime, up, up prime, right, right prime, right? Okay, front, front prime, okay? So with that in mind, the pattern, and here's the here's the, not the secret, but here's something of note, right? You look at the notation, and especially with these more advanced ones, you know, right prime, up prime, right, and you're thinking, oh God, I'll never, you look at this once and you follow it, and then it becomes, like when I'm solving for these, you don't, once you learn it, you're not thinking, okay, right, up, left, you don't think that. It's a pattern that you remember. Your fingers remember a pattern. Just like playing baseball, if you throw a ball, you don't say to yourself, I take the ball, I swing my arm, I release my finger. You don't do that. You just do it. Your body just does it, right? So it's the same exact thing, okay? So once you learn it, right, up, right prime, up prime, right, up, right prime, up prime, it's literally this. So it's broken, the course is broken down into 3 days. First layer, middle layer, last layer. The last layer is the hardest, okay? It's got the most stuff. It's really not that hard. None of it is, but the last layer has the most, okay? So if you practice, like if you learn the algorithm, which is in this, like the first two are extremely simple, right? And you just do it. Like this is it. This is the algorithm. You can leave your fingers right here. They don't even have to move the cube, right? Right, up, right prime, up prime. You're just rotating, excuse me, you're rotating the cube like that. And if you do it from the left side, it's the opposite, but you're doing the same thing, right? You're basically turning back, flick back, right? You're literally doing the same pattern. So when you practice it, you know, you can go fast and everything. When you practice it, you know, just do it over and over, and you know what it feels like. It's like rolling this out. It's very easy, okay? All right, so once you get the cross like this, then you have to know, you take your corner piece. An edge piece only has 2 colors, red, blue. This is an edge piece. The corner pieces have 3 colors, white, green, orange, in this case, okay? So you take your corner piece and you put it over where it goes. This is white, orange, green. It goes here because, you know, white's in the bottom, okay? So orange, green. So this cube is gonna go here, okay? Now, there's a trick. You can do it the long way, which means you can just keep doing this over and over and over, and eventually it's in place. There, boom, it's in place. However, if white's on top, like this, you're gonna have to do it a few times, okay? So boom, 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 it's in place, okay? If white is not on top, the secret is you take your color and you match it up to the center, and then wherever white is, that points to the hand you do it with. So in this case, if the cube, and you'll just naturally, I know this sounds all, it's like, what? You know, trust me, it is so simple. Once you do it like 3 times, you're gonna master it, okay? If it's like this, you can do it with your left hand, but it's gonna take like 3 or 4 spins. If this is the case, the white's pointing to the right, use your right hand. You know, it's just once. Watch this cube right here. This is gonna go here in the correct order, watch. Boom, it's there, right? It's already in place, it's already flipped, the green's right, orange is right, okay? It's as simple as that. So here's the next one, white, blue, orange. Where does that go? Right there, white, blue, orange. So it's gonna go here, so we put it over it. And white's on top, so it doesn't matter which hand I use really. I'm just gonna use my left hand. I'm gonna do the same move, this move right here, over, well, in this case, left hand, right? Over and over and over until it's only gonna take 1 to 3, right? So watch, I'm gonna spin, and I'm watching it. Boom, it's in place, boom, done, okay? Now for those that are, you know, more advanced cubers, this is a total beginner tutorial geared at people that don't know how to solve the cube, because I know when I was solving that, okay, when I was doing that, the people that know about cubing, I'm sure, saw the fact that these were together, meaning like that. And they probably thought, well, why don't you just insert both of them? Well, yeah, that's what you do as you get better with the cube, right? But we're doing the very beginner method, okay? So if you see that, remember, this is a beginner tutorial, okay? Okay, so white, green, red, that goes here. I put it over it. In this case, white is not on top, so my red matches, my white's pointing to the right. I'll use my right hand. Look, one twist, this is going to be properly in place. Boom, done. It's that easy, right? So what else we got here? This is white, blue, red. That goes here. Once again, this is matching. White's to the right. I use my right hand. One twist. Watch. Boom, boom, boom. It's in place. And my layer's solved. I have the white face with the corresponding edges. That means my entire layer is solved, okay? Let's solve this one really quick, okay? So edges, first I get my edges. I'll solve it on the bottom. You can solve it. Some people solve the white cross on top. When they're beginners, it's easier. Other people on the bottom. After the cross, you have to go on the bottom anyway, so it's probably better to just start on the bottom. If you're having trouble, start with the white cross on top. That's fine, you know? So I have orange is in place, blue is in place. I only need red and green. Let me see. Here's red. Well, orange is in place. If I bring red up, number one, it's in the wrong place. Number two, I'm destroying orange. So I have to say to myself, this goes here. So I take red, which is opposite of orange over here, and I know the cube's gonna go here, but I want it to go here. So I think to myself, I'll put here over here. I'll move it there. Now I'll move red up, and then I'll put it back. And orange is still good, blue is still good, and red is good now, okay? All right, and then I take green, I put it over, and I just rotate it up, okay? Like I said, most people can get the cross, so I'm not gonna spend a ton of time with that, okay? There's a ton of videos out there on how to do the cross. Okay, now the corners. Blue, orange, white. So that goes right here because it goes here, right? I put it over where it goes. White's on top. That tells me it doesn't matter which hand I start with. I'll do the left. I'm just gonna do the same pattern over and over and over. Boom, 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 boom. I'm gonna keep doing it. There, boom, it's in place. That's the thing. Once you do the same, you just keep rotating the cube and it's gonna be in place. That's the cool thing about this is you might have to do it 2 or 3 times, but it's gonna work, guaranteed every time, okay? So the same thing with red and blue. It goes here, it's over the top. I'm gonna spin it over and over until it's in place. And what else do I got? Green and red goes here. Same thing, over and over and over. Boom, it's done. This one, they're all pointing up, okay? Over and over and over. Boom, it's done. And now the whole side is, or the whole layer is basically done, okay? So that is it for layer 1. We'll go over it one more time. Let me just scramble these. And the big thing, the big takeaway from this, okay, day 1, practice these algorithms. Take a corner and basically over and over. And remember, leave your hands, like don't turn, then turn, then turn. Just get your hands in a way that you can see. I'm using my fingertips a lot. A lot of it's using your fingertips, right? Whether it's ring finger, you know, bottom layer, ring finger, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. You know, top fingers are common. Ring fingers are common. You know, so turn, turn, turn. So these fingers and these fingers, get used to using, okay? So the algorithm again is for that corner, it's just like this. Just rotate these over and over until you feel comfortable doing this pattern. Don't even think of it as an algorithm. It's such a funky word, algorithm. It sounds all scientific. Just think of it as a pattern. I'm doing this pattern over and over and over and over. If I do my left hand, same thing. Over and over. You'll be better with one hand than the other, of course, but that's it, okay? So to solve it, once again, blue, I'm gonna go here, over, up, back, because I got red here. I'm gonna solve it on the bottom if you don't mind, okay? And orange, and other thing is, try to know your colors. Orange is opposite of red, so we know, we don't have to look around the cube. Orange is the opposite of red, and blue is the opposite of green, and white is the opposite of yellow, okay? So orange, I know that it's gonna go opposite and down. So if I were solving this fast, I would immediately, boom, like spin it twice, which puts it over here, and then twice, which puts it in place, okay? So green is all set to go. Just flick it up, boom. And now we have our cross. Ignore these, okay? So now we have our cross, we're onto our corners. Our corners are gonna be orange and green. I put it over and I do my same move. I'll use my left hand over and over and over until it's solved. It's hard to tell yellow from white in this light, sorry. So here's something, okay? There are no more here. Let me do this. This will make it better. This will be a better example, okay? When we're looking for pieces on top, we'll say, uh-oh, there are none. There are no pieces. Well, that's because they're down here. They're just in the wrong spot. So if that's the case, we take our corner and we just literally do the algorithm without anything. We just start doing it. That will bump it up. See, now it's on top. Now I can put it where it goes, over here. And remember now, to be faster, once again, it doesn't matter. If I do the wrong hand, it's just gonna take more turns, but it's the same move, okay? But in this case, the white's pointing to the right, thus I use my right hand, and I know in one move, it's in place, okay? The other one is here. I'll put it over it. White's pointing to the left, means I use my left hand. And in one move, watch this cube, it's in place. Boom, done. The layer's done, okay? This one here, a little bit faster, red, orange is on the bottom. I'm gonna move it over. I'll just solve on the bottom all the way over. Green is here, okay? I'm gonna move it up top, move it over, put this back. I'm gonna move the green over it and rotate it down, okay? So we got green done, orange done, red done. We need blue. Where's blue? Blue's right here. And white's on top. Great. I move it over it like this, and I just rotate it twice. And now my cross is done. Ignore this, and there's my cross. All proper, right? So now my corner pieces. Okay, I've got orange, blue. That is right here. It was in place. White's pointing to the right. I'm going to, oh, that's yellow. I'm sorry. See, these cubes, you know, I thought that was white. The light's bad in here. The piece is actually here. It's just wrong. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate with the same move, one of these, okay, until it's correct. So watch. Boom, boom. There it is. It's in place, okay? Red, blue, white goes here. White's to the right. I use my right hand. One move. Boom. It's in place. Orange, white's up, so it's going to be more than one move. I put it above it, and I'll just use my left hand multiple times until it's correct. Boom, boom, boom. There it is, okay? So same thing, white's up. It's going to take a couple moves. I put green and red over the top. I'll use my left hand again. I'll use my right hand, something different. It's the same effect. Over and over and over until it's done. One move to memorize, and you'll do it guaranteed. That's the cool thing, okay? That one's done. This one's done. Okay, so that is pretty much how to do the first layer. The thing to practice is literally this move right there, over and over. If you do it, the cool thing about practicing these is if you take it solved like this, say I'm looking at red, blue, white, and you do it over and over, it's gonna solve itself. It might take, I think, what, 4 or 5 turns? And if I do my left hand, there. So you just do it over and over until you feel it's muscle memory. You feel good at, doing it like that. Okay, so that's it for the first layer in the first day. So you should be able to solve the first layer properly with really this one algorithm and then mirrored, and that would be day 1. You're a first layer solver. And next we'll do the middle layer without messing up the first layer.